Hello, my name is Antje Muller. I was born and bred in Germany, and 20 years ago I came to beautiful New Zealand, where I now live on my yacht. This is actually where I am right now. I'm 46 years old, so I've come across when I was only 26 from Germany. And yeah, I've just been so blessed and lucky that I got to live here in this wonderful country. My passion is to help people, and a good way to do that is usually through education, through sharing what you know and what you've learned, and maybe get people interested as well in making similar changes. So the other great passion of mine is sailing. This is why I do live on my yacht. It's probably also one of the reasons why I came to New Zealand, because it's a sailing nation, and I'm also into sailing small boats. Like this is, big one, nice to live on. But my competitive side is racing dinghies, Europe dinghies and javelin skiffs, which are really exciting boats as well. So just a little bit about me. I've got my own business. It's an online business where I support people with their health, but also if they want to create their own business, their own separate streams of income, because I think it's very important that we look after our financial health as well. So today, this talk, I wanted to really focus on healthy living and healthy eating. There needs to be a balance in everything we do. So we need to do everything, but do it in moderation. And there are many parts to our well-being, and a lot of that is spiritual, some of it is mental, and a lot of it is also physical. And it all is connected together. And we've got some wonderful speakers in our summit today that talk about some aspects of this. Now, I want to quite focus on our physical health. So that means I wanted more talk about what we can actually do very specifically to, have good eating habits. That's really what I want to focus on, because with this business we've got a team who developed a wonderful course that takes us towards healthy eating habits, and it really helped me. It's been one of the things that have really made a big difference in my life. We call this Slimming4Life because this is not about getting on a diet, because diets don't work. Diets mean that you restrict yourself for a short period of time to lose weight, but as soon as you go back to the eating habits you had before, your weight will come back up. It's just the way it is. So unless you consistently change the habits in your life, your physical will not change either. So I'll show you what happened to me. I'll just give you a bit of an image. I have always been active, so I never felt that I was, horribly fat. But I was actually clinically obese. So this is the picture on the left-hand side. That's about 15 years ago now. And then I did get into this wonderful group that helped me change my eating habits and just my attitude to a few things. And so on the right-hand side, on the other side, you see the new me, where I actually lost 13 kilos. And the great thing is I kept that weight off. So that's really the important thing for me. It has changed my life, and it has also changed like how I am. So I really enjoy that. And so I love passing on what worked for me, and hopefully it will work for you or for someone because this is really a big passion of mine to kind of try and make a positive difference. So if you think about yourself for any success, the same for my success, doesn't matter if it's about business or about my sailing, you need sort of motivation, determination, and focus and perseverance. Nothing's going to happen just by itself overnight. So it's very important to give ourselves this time and give ourselves also, they say, the slack, the leeway to actually say, well, this will take time. We will learn something, and then we'll need time to apply it and make it into a habit. Habits don't change like that. It took us a long time to form habits. It'll take us a bit of time to change habits, but it can be as little as 3 weeks to actually make some good changes and get into habits that you can keep. So I would like to today actually give you a few examples of what we usually talk about. We have this 12-week weight loss course that we do, and you're very welcome to join that one. It's through our website, slimming4life.online. So it's slimming and then the number 4 and then LIFE online. And that is how you could join our course. But I just want to give you a little bit of an insight how we sort of attack these ideas of changing a few habits. So there's a few tools that I really wanted to share with you today. And the first one, I'm not going to go into details, but one of the things we really focus on on our course as well is the positive self-talk. And I'm sure you've heard about this. You probably go like, oh my God, she's going to go affirmations. Yes, I will. Not right here, not right now. But that is probably one of the ways we make it hardest for us to actually make a positive change, because we tell ourselves inside our head that we're horrible, that we're fat, that we're not, all these horrible things that we say to ourselves. And it's very important to change that and says that, yes, I can lose weight. Yes, I'm fit and I'm healthy. And those are the things that really change how we think about ourselves. Because for myself, I can tell you, because I always thought I was not really thinking I was fat. I thought I wasn't very sporty. I thought I wasn't very fit. And it's because I'm not good at throwing balls and running, so which is how fitness is measured usually in most games. And I was never good at that. So I always thought I was not very fit. And because, and then didn't feel good about that. And then what I like to do, I love to eat chocolate, because chocolate makes you feel good. So that was one of the things I like to do, to actually get out of that funk. And it was very interesting when I actually sailed on a two-handed dinghy with someone who taught me to just think, well, we're in this now to win this. And yes, I needed to get a bit fitter for that, but we mostly did that just by spending a lot of time together on the water and then also working on the boat. And it just changed my self-talk from going, oh, I'm not very sporty, to going like, I'm actually doing this. I'm actually good at this. And that made such a difference that we actually ended up winning the New Zealand Championships that year. So it's just like so much as the attitude. So I don't think that I had physically changed in that time from, when I didn't win to when I did win. I think a lot of it was actually the self-talk of going, yeah, I'm actually fit. I can actually do this. I'm actually good at this. I've been sailing all my life. I know what I'm doing. So yeah, a lot of that says, give yourself the credit for who you are and what you do. You're actually wonderful. You're amazing. You probably get a lot done in your life, probably a lot more than me, because I do not have children. And I know anyone who has children has a huge amount on their plate all the time. So you are getting a lot done. Probably having a career as well, and running a household. So give yourself credit for how much you are doing, how much you can do, and how great you are at achieving all these things all the time. So that's a very important sort of start to get into any. Doesn't matter what you want to succeed in or what you want to change. That is very important. Is that positive self-talk, you're actually good. The second thing I want to talk about is eating low GI. So there's low GI means foods that are low on the glycemic index. Now that sounds a little bit technical. It's actually quite easy. I've got a little graph here, which sort of explains it. The glycemic index shows how a food is absorbed in your body, and this is only about carbohydrates, and how much glucose it releases into the bloodstream. So high GI foods release a lot of glucose into the bloodstream after you've eaten it, and then that glucose dives down real quickly. Whereas low GI foods, the glucose is released into your bloodstream only very slowly. That's that blue curve. And so the difference is that high GI foods make us crave for more, because your blood sugar levels drop and your body goes like, oh my God, I need more sugar, even though you don't, you've just eaten. Whereas low GI foods just keep us fuller for longer, and they're also, and this is sort of why the science came up, they help our insulin levels stay more level. And this is why low GI eating is actually recommended for anyone who is diabetic or pre-diabetic. And you're probably going like, oh my God, this is a diet. No, it's actually really cool, because it's just about changing to smarter food, really. So, that, for example, for me, that worked really. I told you already, I was, I'll have to show you, I was into chocolate, right? I love chocolate, and obviously there's a huge amount of sugar in most chocolates. And I couldn't really, get my head around not wanting chocolate. So what I found, and I have to show you this is the 100% cacao chocolate from the Ocho chocolate factory in Dunedin here in New Zealand. So I get the chocolate flavor without all the sugar. So that's 100% cacao. I absolutely love it. And the other cool thing is you can't actually eat that much of it because it's so rich, right? And I promise you, there is something like that for anything. Like even when it comes to rice, but basmati rice, for example, is very high GI. It goes into your blood sugar and makes you just crave more food and sweet food afterwards. Whereas there are brands like the Dungara Clever Rice or even Uncle Ben's that are also white rice, but they are low GI. So it just takes longer for these, for that to be absorbed into your bloodstream, and you don't get the spike in glucose and insulin. Because there comes a other little thing that if your insulin level spikes because your glucose levels have gone up, your body can't burn fat. So that's another reason why if you try to eat low GI, it's actually got a lot of benefits. So those were just two little things I mentioned here that you can do. Obviously, there's a whole list. There's a whole raft. We've got a whole list of, we call them the red sheet and the green sheet, and how to change this for that. Just little things you can change, without really changing too much, but it will actually make a huge impact on how your appetite is and how you can burn fat. So let's go get on to the next bit about how to get the portions under control. Because I think we also all know that if we want to eat healthily, we should be eating healthy portions. And it's one of these things that have dramatically changed in Western society, especially, that portion sizes have just gone up and up and up. They've actually done a little survey at McDonald's, how big medium fries were, and they're now, especially with calories, they're about twice as much because there's now more fat in them and stuff, but they're also bigger than they were 15 years ago. So it's like everything's gone up, and huge portions, and huge portions are actually not very healthy for us. It's a lot better for us to eat smaller portions and make sure we have a balanced plate. So one question is, how do you get to smaller portions? Because you're like, I'll be going hungry. This is not about going hungry, because if you go hungry, you will not be able to sustain those habits. So our Slimming4Life course is all about changing into eating habits that you can sustain. So there are very easy ways to actually help yourself get to smaller portion sizes. One is actually have a glass of water about half an hour before you eat. That fills up your tummy, so you actually don't feel this hungry. And additionally, quite often you feel hungry because you're thirsty. So it's a wonderful idea to actually have a good glass of water. And I do that when I start preparing my meal. So I'll take my time to prepare my meal. So when I start preparing my meal, I have a glass of water. And that has, all these wonderful effects that, well, first of all, I stay hydrated, but then I also have my tummy already partially full. And the other thing, I'm going to share that with you, is actually eating of a smaller plate. And I've got this little portion plate here. We should be having only a quarter of the plate with proteins, which is your meats and legumes, and then a quarter with the carbs, and then actually mostly greens, and go very slow on the fat. But you're actually eating of a small plate will make your brain think, oh, my plate is full, this is good. I don't, and even if you then have a little bit of a second portion, it's not as bad. But if you've had a big plate already and then you have a big second portion, well, you can imagine how that adds up. So it's all about finding some smart ways that really work for you to improve your eating habits. So the next thing we should be discussing is ingredients. One of the biggest dangers for us, for our health, is probably processed food. And I'm not even going to go down and talk about takeaways. No, I won't. But I'm going to talk about, if you ever thought about a reasonably good meal would be, beans on toast. Beans should be quite healthy. So baked beans, and sorry, I should probably not show a brand, a little can like that has 10 grams of sugar in it. Okay, just to give you some sort of idea, that is like over 2 teaspoonsful of sugar. Like, it's actually quite a lot. So this is what we recommend, is that you actually get yourself familiar with all the foods you eat. And I know this is very, very small print, but do read the small print, how much sugar and how much fat is in the foods that you buy, and what is in there. Quite often there are things in there that, if you really kind of thought about it, you don't really want in your body, and they might not be good for a healthy you. So this is one of the things we really go into quite a bit on. There's a whole class on it, on how to read labels and how to make sure that what you're getting is actually sort of the best you can get. I'm not saying don't eat processed food. It's just like, be aware of what's in it. And there are more healthy options out there, which has really been wonderful in the sort of 10 years since I've been doing these courses. It's really changed. We have a lot more options now, which I'm really pleased with as well. So there is a movement, and yeah, go enjoy that. It's really fantastic. So the other ideas we want to also address is, it's not only about what we put into our bodies, it's also the energy we put out. And I think this is not going to come as a surprise to anyone. We need to be active, and everyone has their own way. As I said already, I'm into sailing, and if I get a chance to go sailing or swimming, I love being by the sea. That all burns calories, and do what you enjoy. Like, I'm not saying that you should be doing something you don't enjoy, because you will not keep up doing it. So do what you enjoy, but make sure you also burn the calories, whatever you're eating. And there's lots of little ideas you can do. You can actually do quite a bit of exercise just at home. Just make sure you walk a bit more, you use the steps a bit more. And there's very easy, simple exercises that you can do, that even I can do in this confined space here on my yacht. But one of the best ideas that I've found is, in the supermarket, don't fight for the car park next to the entrance. Fight for the one furthest away. You have to walk that little extra distance, and that's just going to be a little bit of good for you and your body. And because you're already in the space of thinking about food, you're going like, yeah, I'm going to get the food that makes me walk, more. So it's just about simple things we can do each and every day, and to just be a little bit fitter and a little bit healthier. So yeah, if you want to join us in our course, I very much recommend that you find someone who will join you in this journey. And it's because I would also encourage you to be this person that wants to support someone else. So it's a lot easier to do this together, because then that's someone you can practice things like, having those good meals, or going out and having even, good meals when you're going out, and they understand what you're going through, and it'll just make things a lot easier. And yeah, so, and it's very positive energy. So if you do want to join us, I encourage you to come to our Slimming4Life website and sign up, or you can get my details through this course as well. So I'll just show you the website, what it looks like. It's called slimming4life.online, and you can sign up there, and I'll give you a call, and I'll be in touch, and you'll get our 12 modules there of our weight loss course. So I'll just leave that one up there for you. So yeah, it's just a wonderful thing to be the best that you can be in the physical sense as well. And there are so many simple things that we can do to actually improve. And the final thing I need to show you, so what this whole new eating lifestyle meant for me, is that I was fitter and I was lighter. And that makes a big difference when you're sailing small dinghies. So just to give you a little bit of an idea, so this is my sort of before and after. On my little Europe dinghy is what it's called. Sorry, I think yeah, this is better. And I, just to be that little bit fitter made such a huge difference that I have, ever since I lost all this weight, I've been a lot better when the wind was light, because you can imagine, on the left-hand side there, I weigh the boat down more. So there's more wetted surface that makes you slower. Whereas, when you're a bit lighter, you're faster. It's pretty much in any sport, it's all about weight. So, the hull, this whole boat only weighs about 60 kilograms when it's all rigged. So you can imagine that me losing 10 made a huge difference. So I've actually since been the New Zealand champion in that class about 8 times. And I also qualified for the World Championship. And my best result at a World Championship was actually the 11th place. And I won one of the races. So I'm very, very happy because it had such a big effect, you know, on me actually, for my life and for my big passion, which is sailing. So I very much invite you to join us, slimming4life.online, and get in touch with me. Yeah, it would be absolutely lovely to accompany you on your journey to fit and healthy. Thank you very much.